Today, I'm talking to Helene Rousse, a casting director based in Montreal with over 35 years' experience in the business. A great opportunity for us to explore what the industry looks like in Canada and perhaps even some advice for actors today.
Two unemployed actors, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome, Helen. Thank you for joining me. Before we get into more detail on your experience as a casting director, can you give us a bit of an update on what the industry looks like in Canada at the moment?
For sure. First of all, thank you for having me. This is great. Thank you, Max.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm standing right now in Montreal, Canada, and it's still very warm.
A bit jealous, but
The
yep.
yes, there's no snow yet, but the industry here, I think it slowed down this year. Actually, people are like shocked. I think Toronto is doing pretty well in general. Vancouver, well, it's always close to LA, so they get all the series and so on, and the dollar is pretty good, right? So it doesn't it's not a very long road to drive to not to drive, but to take a plane and just go next door. Here in Montreal, yeah, it slowed down a little bit, but we're hopeful. We're doing some promotion. I'm part of the BCTQ, which is the Bureau of Cinema at Quebec, and we're actually have a meeting with the unions and another casting director to see how we can bring more film here in Montreal, Quebec. And also part of another association called the Quebec English Producer Association to bring more, to do promotion and advocacy and to bring the two languages together, because here we have lots of production in English and 50% of it is also in French, right? Because I'm
50%.
French.
I thought it'd be more like 75% English,
Uh,
but yeah, no, that's
yeah,
interesting.
well, I guess it depends which year, but yeah, there's as much English as French. French, there's feature films, there's a lot of TV series, there's still stuff going on the networks. So
Okay.
people can get some work and they can work almost full time, basically. For
Before,
some of us, right?
yeah, I know, right? For yeah, it's a dream for every actor to be able to work full time,
Yes.
get cancel their survival jobs and plow on in the art that they love. But I guess
Yeah.
the writers' strike put the brakes on a lot,
Yeah.
even as far flung as markets such as Australia. We felt an
Yeah.
impact. Um, before
This
before
year mainly too, you felt it?
well, I think it was our perspective. I think we shared with many markets where we just thought once it was over, it would go back to normal.
Mm.
What we've sort of found is there are fewer productions being commissioned, and when they
Mm.
are, the budgets are lower, and they're asking
Oh,
more
yes.
for whether
Yes.
it's in front of the camera or behind the camera.
What's coming a lot more is the verticals. Have
Yeah,
you heard about it?
yeah,
It's the new in thing right now, and actors should jump on that. Like it's like even like the other like the big the Disneys, they see this that they all want to get on the wagon because like that's the new era, and that's how those big companies from China or everywhere they make money. We have a few companies here, like I did the casting for a couple of those verticals, and it pays okay, but
yeah.
some actors, they actually get a contract with a production company where they get used over and over and over. It's a whole different world now, and you can get part of the in the sales. You can be part of the sales as well and get a piece of the action there.
Which helps certainly. I think at first that it was looked down upon because of the low budgets, and actors were like, "Oh, do I really want to commit to something like that?" And but now that it's starting to mature as an option, and you're right, the big studios and production companies that have been established for some time are looking into it because at the end of the day, that's where the eyeballs are. There's
Yes,
there's less and less on
and the
networks.
actor, yeah, the actor can really work on his craft and work a lot, and the budget are going up and up
Mm.
slowly, so you can get to work like a lot more. It's a whole different world we're going into now.
I think because I also write and I'm trying to produce some television shows as well, and in the current environment, trying to get your first producer credit. You know, you're going to strangers asking for money, and it's hard when you haven't produced anything, right? So a pathway I've seen is, rather than just doing a proof of concept like a short film, we'll do verticals, because you can not only deliver a proof of concept and show how successful it can be as a television series, but also you're bringing audience with it as well.
Oh, yes,
It's
absolutely.
really interesting. I was talking to an actor last week who is about to debut on TikTok a
Yeah.
32 by
Oh,
2 minute vertical series, and
yes.
the screen organizations in Australia have sort of gotten around to funding that, whereas before it was like web series and they just classed it under online. That now
Yes.
is starting to grow as a share of the funding, and encompasses a lot of verticals as well, which is interesting. So, yeah, but look, more work for actors. Yeah,
Yes, and it's very good to practice the craft. I think they gotta learn like 20 to 25 pages. They gotta do in one day or something.
they shoot
So
fast.
you gotta work that muscle,
If you
right?
don't turn up
You should.
prepared, you're going to have a very very difficult day.
They do a full movie in like 5 days that they chop into little episodes, and my God, it's a good way to get working. And one of the guy, I think his name is Tim Milk. He has 250 million followers because he's in verticals. Can you imagine
Oh my god!
how fast it went? And he said he just learned his craft. He was a model, became actor, and just
Right.
tried to learn and memorize. And he said sometimes it goes crazy, and it's like 12-hour days or something. So you really, so you never know, which door it's gonna work for you
That's right.
if you just say no to something. This is like the new opportunity, and it's shocking. I have two of my friends, they started a whole platform, that's all they do. One
Really?
is called Reframe,
Uh-huh.
and other one is kind of all love stories, and it's always like romance and the
The,
millionaire versus this and that. It's usually
yes. The
same kind of
dramas in
scripts.
2 minute bites.
That's right. They want to hook you so you can pay to know what's going to be next, what's going to happen.
Yeah, people scroll quickly, so you got to get in there with the hook. That's interesting, isn't it? Talking to casting directors last year on the podcast, I don't think it was even a topic to talk about. Like, it wasn't even a bullet
I
point.
know.
Whereas now, it's growing so much.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, how did you get into casting? You always wanted to work in the industry, or you
Yeah, I think I started like at 14
oh wow,
in the industry. I started dancing, modeling, and at 21, I opened a talent agency
at
and a
21?
modeling agency. 21. I knew exactly like I wanted to be in the industry. So I took some classes, this and that. I opened the agency, and eventually I had some shareholders, and we opened. I did an affiliation with a company in New York called McDonald Richards. It was a commercial print agency, and with them we opened in Paris. And then we were like sending the models so we can represent more models, and that started like that. And eventually, I had also a division for actors and a division for voice. I always had a division for voice. But in those days, voice, we had tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't have MP3s, right? So it was costing a lot of money for the actors, make the tapes, and then we had to get a courier and send it to the studio, and actors had to have like 100 pictures, 100 resume. We had to send it all in hard copies.
Wow.
I mean, it was so expensive those days. But anywho, so basically, I had one of my assistant that actually left with half of my actors
Oh
at
really?
the time. Yeah. And she did that with her mom while my mom was at the hospital, pretty much dying. So I came back and I had to rebuild. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to sell the company and I'm going to go into casting because, then it's going to give me the creativity to work with like the creators, the directors. And I felt like as an agent, I didn't have, you know, the control or the power to help as much as I could for the talents, the actors, the models, the voice talents. So for me, um, being a casting director, I can have more power to help,
Yeah.
to be able to select and push and work directly with the creators. And I think that as an agent, I thought it was hard to get my commissions actually. So I said, I don't need that.
Yeah, no, exactly. You've got less control, I guess, and less influence in the outcome as
Yeah,
much as the
so
creative
and now I
process.
actually get paid like on time.
You're not chasing up those phone calls. Yeah,
Yes,
agents, they do earn their money. I think I think the agency was good for you in that it allowed you to get experience in the industry, so you actually knew which path you wanted to take.
exactly, exactly. I think it was a normal step to become a casting director. I knew every side, every step. When you're in at the different angles and you sit at all these different chairs, you're well rounded with all the, from acting to being an agent to being casting director. And we all wear so many different hats, even you two. You're
Yeah,
like writing, you do this, you produce, right?
yeah.
So same thing with me. I'm co-writing a sci-fi with somebody else, and I'm trying to do that as well. And there's so many different hats. But casting, it's been now 25 years this year.
Wow.
So I'm celebrating.
Well, congratulations. And so what would you say are your favorite aspects of the job? What's been keeping you going over those 25 years?
I think when I received the email or an accolade from the client, like the producer, the director, saying, Helene, that was an amazing job. We are flabbergasted. And I just got another Google rate this week of another client. I was so happy. I didn't even ask him. He went and wrote something on Google, right?
Fantastic.
And I'm like, yes, this is kind of my food. And to make actors happy, like I have a newsletter I send out to the people that are registered in my database, and I congratulate all the people that got lead roles or this or that. I think it's important. So I'm very happy for them, and I'm happy this happens. If I can help to elevate some talent, I mean that's great.
Do you cast also for television commercials, or is it all just film and television? And what about verticals too? I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
The company is called Total Casting.
Okay, got it.
So I
The
cast
clues
TV
in the title.
commercials, feature film,
Yeah.
seasons. I do also have an in-house recording studio, so I cast voices in all languages. I've done over 100 video games where I book people from all over the world, really, with their voice for different games. We do also dubbing for animated TV series for kids. That's one of our specialty.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun. Dubbing is hard to hire from everywhere. It's mainly central,
Yeah.
but for games and for many other jobs, corporate, we do a lot of GPS for cars
Ah,
right
yep,
now.
yep, yep. I think
Famous.
people when they hear voiceovers, they think of radio commercials. They don't really but there's so many pathways to bring voices to life. I know I've been doing voiceovers for I think like 5 or 6 years now, and from
Yes.
home as well. Mainly, I think because I took a break from acting for 20 years in the corporate world, so I've come back to the arts. This is why I'm so happy because I'm back in the arts, away from the corporate world, and I find myself bringing those dry sort of corporate scripts to life more than anything, and trying to make some of that copy sound relaxed and relatable takes a lot of acting talent. I can assure you, some scripts you forget as soon as you turn the microphone off. But yeah, there's so many avenues for
Yes.
voice work.
And isn't that fun? You can do that in your pajamas,
Indeed,
right?
yes, you can do it from the comfort of your own home. The commute is from the living room to the office. It's easy, but I think
You don't have to learn it by heart either.
no.
You just have
Well,
to read the script.
what's interesting, and I think the Australian Association of Voice Actors that I'm a part of, the dialogue at the moment has been a lot around artificial intelligence and how that started to impact some areas of the
Hmm.
business, and even from uh, in front of the camera on set. Like I remember I did one television commercial, and the director came up to me and he's like, "Oh, you look exactly like the AI storyboard that I'd created, like you as this character. I'm like, I didn't know whether
Wow.
to be offended or think which part of my work has been scraped over the internet to construct the AI version of me, and how long before the AI version of me starts to get more work than the real me, and all this is going through
Yeah,
my head as I'm thinking, just smile and nod, but I
that's
think
true.
it's that's something that I've seen start to come in, where even the union in Australia a couple of years ago said, make sure you put this paragraph in your contracts to say, here's my work
Don't
as per
use it.
usage agreement, but not to be in your bank of data
Owned,
as AI owned. Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Have you? Is that something you're seeing in your market as well? Impacts of AI.
Yeah, I think it happens more in voice
Yeah.
and in video games. That's the main thing. We get a lot of casting for voice, for AI stuff, for all the languages. It's not everybody who wants to do it, and it's okay. It's
Mm.
not for everybody, and it's a very different flow of speaking, I mean, I use ChatGPT, I use, whatever, but and you can hear those different voices, and
Yeah.
sometimes, oh, I just want to change the voice. I wish I had a great accent like you coming in. Um,
I think it's I mean, there are opportunities, and also I think as we see the technology get better and better, it's harder and harder sometimes to to pick up. I think because we live and breathe, in the industry, it's a bit easier for us to see, just as it might be to pick a paragraph that's written by ChatGPT than an actual writer. But
oh, yes.
it's certainly here to stay, and I guess it's how we live with it
Yes,
in the
yes, it's
industry.
here to help.
Yeah,
You don't take it verbatim,
yeah.
obviously, but for the voice, for the AI voice, we just had a demand today. It was French Canadian, so I put some people in there, and it pays $150,000.
Good lord! But for
That's
that,
something to think about.
I mean, yeah,
A
certainly.
buyout.
I think so. That's by it. So yeah. So as a
Yeah.
voice artist, then, if you were to go on a job, on a project, would you have to declare that you're the voice of such and such AI, or
Well, this one's not exclusive,
oh, okay,
so
okay,
it's just a buyout of your voice
okay,
instead of, saying, okay, we'll buy it for 10 years or
yeah,
whatever. So they pay like an amount, like a first amount, like 50,000. Let's say you got to do, I don't know, so many hours of recording,
right,
and then a buyout of 100 grand, which is pretty interesting.
yeah.
Um,
At least
they're not all like that,
no.
but
And I think no, and then there are some that are just taking voices and doing what they want. But I think that's at least that they're up front, and there's remuneration for the artist. So in the business that is total casting, do how early would production companies come and seek your input for a project? Is it right at the beginning in early development, or is it just before they start production? They want to know who the rest of the cast looks like.
I think way too often last minute. I don't know why they just want to, and then we all rush, 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 rush. And then the actors need to rush for their self-tapes. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why not like do this months before? You already started. So, and sometimes we do the casting for the stars in advance. So that's fine for them to be able to go get the funds with the different subsidies that are available. Just like we have here, different ones that like, it's called Telefilm Canada,
Hmm.
and you have to apply, and then you still have to have the names with your project so you can get maybe the funds,
Yeah.
and not everybody gets chosen, right?
Do you have a preference for casting more for television or film, or is it just because you're total casting, you're in all the areas of the industry?
I think commercials are fast and quick.
Yeah. And is it? And do you find it a great way to find new talent as well? Like someone, I had a casting director
Yes.
tell me once, someone comes in and they just nail the audition. Maybe they're not right for that particular role, or maybe they don't even get put forward to the client, but the casting director remembers them, and then when a role comes up, they can like, I know who would be perfect for that. Does that actually
You
happen,
got it.
or is that just an
You
actor's
got it.
dream?
That's exactly it. I keep all the auditions, and I think, oh, this guy was good in this one. Even if he didn't get the job the last one, of course I'm going to do a callback. And sometimes I use the audition to send to a client that they pre-select, just sometimes by the old auditions.
Right.
So yeah, but of course, when we have a demo video, it's always useful. Like I've watched even your demo video, and it's very striking right from the beginning. Poof,
Right.
it gets your attention immediately. So kudos for that.
Thank you.
I
It's
think it's really important for an actor to have that.
Yeah, and have it easily available for everyone. And I think always try and keep it updated. And I think you're right. It's got a hook from the start. And I think particularly when you're not known for your work, you've got to really put all the different as much as you can have different genres in there and show your range as an
Your
actor. I
range.
guess. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Sometimes it's separate, like if you do like commercials in corporate, you should have another demo video separate from your film and television and your scenes. It's very different, right?
Yeah, I think because at the moment, what's paying the bills the most when you look at my voiceover, writing, producing, acting, it's presenting to camera work where again it's the corporate money, it's consistent, and a day on set presenting to camera pays more than if I was in a television series for a 50 worder over 2 days. It's a crazy imbalance, but nonetheless, you're right. It's a different show reel for me because
Mhm.
of that different style of work and it's yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
ideally, like any actor, I'd love a great character, but you can't ignore the fact that you've got to keep the lights on in the meantime.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And it keeps your muscle working anyway, right?
That's
Just to
right.
get ready in between those fun scenes.
Yeah, exactly. In
So
between the
you can
fun
be the
projects,
character.
I
Yes.
think no, you're absolutely right because sometimes the material isn't stuff that you'd normally gel with in life or
Mm,
as an actor, and you've got to really work your acting muscles to deliver it sort of relaxed and relatable while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. And I think it's great. It does keep your work fit, and that's one reason why I certainly keep it up. The other
yeah.
the other way I've found to help me stay work fit is doing short films, like particularly some student films. There's plenty of schools in Sydney
Mm-hmm.
even, but there's a few that I've learnt to avoid and if that sort of accept anyone, and then there's a few where they have to have a portfolio to be accepted, where they meet a certain standard, and it's a great way for you to feel a bit freer as an actor because there's a bit less pressure, and you can indulge and push limits a little more and really immerse yourself in and sometimes I've found some of them are more professional than some professional crews. It's an amazing experience, but again, it's experience. It keeps you work fit in another way.
Always, always. Same thing. I thought, it slowed down a little bit this year, just a bit, and I thought, what else can I do? Right? So I think I came up with the idea to do a live Zoom every two weeks. Not exactly a podcast like you, but so so that's what I did. It's called Showbiz Connect. And I do that every 2 weeks, and I have different guests, and I do draws, and I give all kinds of things to help the actor. It's all for the actors and the talents out there. And sometimes when you give like that, you get so much back in a way, right?
Yeah,
And it's to organize all that. It took about like 3-4 months to be able to put all that together. And at the meantime, what I do is I promote a new class that I put together for beginners. And because people always ask, well, how do I start? Right? It's
yeah.
always the
And it's
same
and it's
question.
daunting when you don't know when your only experience is watching the content. You don't. It's hard to try and learn as quickly as possible what the processes are. Um,
Exactly.
and
I
there's
put that together. It's like it's called a Formula One. It's like a race to the
oh good,
race to
nice.
the
I like it,
tracks.
catchy. I love it.
Yeah. So I
Find the
put
right
that. It's
formula.
like with modules. People are learning online for 3 months to 6 months, whatever they want. It's like a platform. And then twice a week they have a live coaching. They practice their craft, their audition, their self tapes, their monologues, their scenes in front of coaches. They have feedback, and they learn all the way every single tools of the trade. Headshots, resumes,
Yeah,
agent,
yeah,
blah blah blah, all the tricks of the trade. Because I've been doing this for over
yeah,
40 years.
yeah.
So
for me, coming back after 20 years in corporate, I because I was acting as a teenager for a while, they're not taking it very seriously, and certainly not a lot of life experience, as many teenagers can relate. But then coming back, really not knowing the industry at all and how it had changed, but having that experience many years ago, I think for me it was just dive right in and go to lots of industry events to learn. You hear producers talk, Q&As, find out what's happening, who are the good agents, the bad agents, all that sort of stuff, and do the short films and immerse yourself in workshops. I think that flooding my senses with immersing myself,
Everything.
yeah, it really was a quick education. Yeah, it was an interesting way to come back when you've got some life experience and you're coming back trying to learn the industry again.
Yes.
Even that felt daunting at times. So
Absolutely.
it really
Absolutely.
underlines how people do need and look for guidance because they don't know who to trust and which path to take. So yeah, Formula One. Okay, I like that.
You like that?
I do. I think it's great. It's good.
Yes, there is a few people around me who was at the show also. They're all back to their passions, and sometimes they're 50 or 60 years old. Said, "That's it. I'm doing what I love. I wanted to do that." In those days, people said, "Well, why don't you get a real job, right?"
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what people said then, right? And now they're saying, "No, that's it. I'm diving in." Like you said, surround yourself, do a workshop, do
Yeah.
mixers, mingle, listen to podcasts like yours. I mean, things you learn. You got to assimilate as much as you can so
Yeah.
you can give it. And for me, that's why I created that, because this class, so people cannot go in zigzag. They're gonna go in straight line on the
Yeah.
racetrack.
Often actors will think, it's a fight, a battle to get to the point where you've got an agent, but then it doesn't end and you can't just sit on the couch waiting for the call, from the agent. And it's still a business where you've got to get out and about and make those contacts and networks, and
Yeah, it's a partnership.
you're always learning. No, I think that's fantastic. So any guidance you can provide there is certainly valuable for any artist.
You have to put yourself out there all the time.
As we move to perhaps, advice for actors when it comes to the casting process, I mean, are there any sort of trends in casting that an actor should be aware of at the moment? I know one, for example, is the trend to doing more self-tapes.
Yeah. Right now, I would say 99.5% is all self-tapes, right?
Wow.
It's a whole different world, which gives a lot of leeway for actors to do a lot more auditions. Everything has changed. But for me, if you're going to send a self-tape, for me, the self-tape quality makes a big difference. That your camera is not blurry, that you have the right background, that it's neutral. I did do a video on how to self-tape and everything. I do have a YouTube channel called Casting Vlog.
Good.
And so I put a few videos out there to help out the actors. But there's so much information on YouTube about how to do a good self-tape. But this is key, I think, because if you have something distracting you in the background, or you have big jewelry, or the background is way too much, it's going to distract from your performance. And we want to see you, the actor, in the performance. We don't want to see everything around it, right? So that's key for me. And to be really present, have your whole setup. I know it's all technical, but you
Yeah.
don't have a choice now. This is what it is these days,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I kind of, I mean, I love to be in the room and you get that feedback and be like, can you try it in this direction or that direction? Or, and I love that. And, every actor loves an audience, right? But even under pressure, but I think I do see the benefit in self-tapes where you can just go record as many takes as you're comfortable with to be able to,
Yes.
put the
And
right
even on
submission forward.
callbacks, Max. We had some callbacks when one actor was in Toronto and Montreal, so we had to do a chemistry read 2 by 2. And so you put the screen side by side and they have to read, and
Wow.
you can still see if there's some kind of chemistry. It's not the days where I casted Death Race and they were bringing an actress from LA, another one from Vancouver. They brought him in Montreal and they do a chemistry test live, like in person. They flew them.
Yeah.
So I think we're far from that now.
Yeah, no, I remember, Australian actors talk about how one minute they're struggling to feed themselves, the industry's like, as an emerging actor, and the next minute they're on a business class trip to the States to test for a network. It's like, it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
those days, and dusting off their standard American accent. I think, that you're right. We're far from that. We just have to adapt now.
I wanted to come back to you about the vertical
Oh, yeah.
that when they advertise, yeah, I don't know if you know that platform, Mandy.com.
No.
So these verticals are advertising there, and they're flying people to China to shoot from anywhere in the world. So if people out there are listening and you want to maybe do some verticals, they're going to pay for the trip, everything, and then you get paid per day, whatever they're paying. But there's some more advertisement right now on that platform. So if some people out there would like to try that, hey, you can get a trip to China on top of
It's
it,
really
right?
interesting. Yeah, we had, I guess, partly because our proximity to China here and in the Asia Pacific, we're not that far. I think there was
Right.
a few actors have talked to me about how they were looking at going to China and I think it's like a couple of weeks and then they shoot so
Yeah.
much in that period. And
Yeah.
because it's just so new, we're just coming to terms with it all.
No.
It's yeah, but
But it's
it
interesting.
is,
I
isn't it?
mean,
And
it's worth to look into it and
yeah,
maybe send a self-tape if it's, you're available those dates and you
yeah,
think you can learn
yeah,
25 pages, like,
yeah.
and you're really good at memorizing.
That's where
Then yeah.
all the eyeballs are. I get. Well, is it important for actors to develop a large following on social media? Is that a consideration for casting directors?
It's somewhat important, but uh, not in general. But we go look sometimes at the Instagram. My assistant is going to go look what that person's done or whatever. It did happen when I did a video game where we casted the voice. The person had to do martial art for real in real life.
Right.
I had to give all their social media following because of marketing. They're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's for their promotion and marketing. They want to see if
Yeah.
you're going to market the product after you've done the shoot. So, but it's not happening very often.
Okay.
Have you heard more on your side or
I think as an actor, we feel the pressure sometimes to be able to consistently put out
post?
social media, and we always look at it through the lens of what if a
Who's
casting
going to see
director
it?
sees it, or
Yeah,
or my
of
agent's
course.
going to get angry if I don't do some behind the scenes social posts about this job, or
Yeah.
so
Oh no.
it's always like we this is what goes through our minds. It's always a focus for
Yeah.
us, and sure there are moments like anyone with a bit of common sense, so there's a lens as well to say, well, I don't think I should post that, and if you're not sure, don't do it, sort of thing. But I think there's
If
always
you have doubts, yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Don't do it. Yes, yes, we look at that. Not that often, but once in a while we need to check, okay, what is he doing? Because sometimes if some actors don't have a demo video, we're gonna go check because we need to see the person live. And we're gonna
Yeah.
check if there's any videos on Instagram or YouTube or whatnot to see a little further than what we've seen
Right.
to
See the
see
actual
we can,
personality and some authenticity and insights to other
yeah,
projects, maybe how they work. I get makes sense.
yeah, maybe we want, do we want to work with that person? Is that
Yeah.
personality is gonna fit, you
Yeah.
know?
No,
And
it's
it's
really
normal.
interesting. No, that makes sense. Do you find actors without an agent, or does everyone come to you through an agent?
That's a very good question. Both.
Okay.
I have no problem. That's why I have a database where people can go and register, and most of them don't have agents, so we book them directly.
Okay.
I send them a newsletter, whatnot. And there's a couple, but that's usually like, pretty much like that. There's a couple people here and there with no agents. Um, so, and sometimes when we search out large, then we're gonna go on different platforms. Like we go on Casting Workbook, the platform.
Okay.
It's a very good platform to look for actors and a lot of them have no agent. Or if we're looking for union, non-union, or live in different cities, like Casting Workbook is also good for the States. So we use that platform a lot. and other platforms as well, obviously. But I don't know which platform you guys receive breakdowns.
In Australia, there's the main ones are Showcast and Casting Networks, where you certainly pay to have your profile up there. But within those, I think you certainly need an agent to be able to, because they're the ones that see all these almost exclusive to those platforms, television commercial auditions, some film, television. And so you really need the agent to be able to submit. You can't sort of self-submit, if you like, through those platforms, and you don't, as an actor, get visibility. And of course, there are many more. I mean, I'm on
Oh,
another
yes.
couple of platforms, and some of the,
Yes.
you can end up
Actors
paying a
Access.
fortune. Pardon?
Do you know Actors Access?
No, that's not a big
A lot of
one.
the states use that in
Okay.
Canadian as well.
Okay.
That you can see some breakdowns, like sometimes we can choose who can see what and
Right.
so on, but that you can have your own platform, and a lot of actors actually can get jobs directly from that platform, even from Australia.
Okay. Wow. Something to consider. Well,
Yes,
and
it's a good one.
it leads into, a question of how can actors stand out to casting directors? How can we be seen? What else can we do other than be on the platform? For example, when I was in the theatre in a production, I'd invite different casting directors, industry contacts to come and watch. Can people email you and say, "Hey, here's my updated show reel," or what can we do?
Yes, absolutely. An email, when you do send invite, make sure that the casting director or even your agent don't pay to get in, because they receive so many invitations. If they start paying for everything, there's going to be bankrupt. But that's one thing to do. I say also always thank a casting director, send a little card or something by email, or actually a hard copy. If you want to be different than others, you can find out the address maybe of the different casting directors around you, or somebody you'd like to be seen by. And I would actually send a hard copy and a resume with a maybe a, like, I don't know, like a little card, a $10 card from Starbucks or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to, or maybe find out when their birthday is and send a little email, a little something.
Okay.
Be creative.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I explain also in my class. I try to give those tricks. I mean, I always thank maybe the casting director that sent you, and your agent, even if you didn't get the gig, thank you for sending me, or little somethings like that, right? Appreciation. And that will come back to you, and they will think about you, and they will remember. Mini gestures sometimes go very far. So that's what I would suggest.
Interesting. No, I like that. Especially the because you're not the first person in the last week to say in the industry to say I'm happy to receive letters and hard copy, because it's a unique way by
Oh,
going back
really?
to the olden days to stand out these days. I think that's really interesting.
You can follow up by an email saying, "Oh, did you get my art copy?" Or
Yeah, I love that. That's great. That's so cool. I think that's great advice. Well,
yeah, I'm returning to some of the basics where people actually are happy to receive mail.
I know, it's hilarious. The postman actually stops now. So what about actors who haven't had auditions for some time? Like there's what advice would you give them to be able to stay work fit and ready and develop your network?
Well, networking is key. So for me, that's why I did Showbiz Connect. I connect people together. I do breakout rooms at the end of the show.
So
So
yeah,
people,
so tell me more about the podcast. So Showbiz, it's called Showbiz Connect, and what you invite like a group of actors. Is it like a
everybody can
workshop?
be invited from anywhere.
Okay.
So if people go to totalcasting.ca,
Mm-hmm.
Canada, and they click on Showbiz Connect, it's going to bring them to a page. They can fill up the email, and they're going to receive a link, a Zoom link. It's a Zoom cast, I call it.
Right.
So it's a live Zoom cast every 2 Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. And then once the show's finished, it's going to go on YouTube. It's going to be the edited version on YouTube. And then it's going to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Spotify, yes,
And
exactly.
and so what do actors need to prepare for that, or is it? just it's like a
So it's not
conversation.
necessarily an audition. It's more like we have different guests. We have directors. We have casting directors.
Okay, okay.
We have coaches. Today we had the singing coach. I invited also a very good famous singer as well. And yeah, different. There's a different theme. You know, it is to find different theme for a podcast or a
Yeah, yeah,
show.
yeah. Keep it fresh, keep it relevant.
So we have a theme every 2 weeks, and then
Okay.
I have maybe coming. I'm going to have some agents come in also for kids in the biz, about kids. So like different themes like that. So you learn different crafts, you have different connections, and when we do the breakout rooms at the end, then we have different people, and then people can make some connections here and there. Sometimes it's producers, and yeah, in 2 weeks it's going to be a director, producer, and like different people. So it's very exciting. I love it. It's my new thing, Showbiz Connect.
Well, yeah, so it's a great way to really gain some knowledge from people busy in the industry professionals, and also start to build your network a little more. That's great.
And gives ideas, just like
Yeah,
we're doing right now. You know, we're
yeah.
trying to give as much advice as possible, and your questions are right on point. So
Well, I mean, they come
thank you
from
for that.
a credible, authentic place of me being an emerging actor looking for the next role. So I hope they're relevant. But thank you, Helen, for sharing some
We're
great
both learning.
insights. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing some great insights from the perspective of a casting director. I'll be sure to check out the podcast as well for lots of tips.
Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated for sure.
So don't forget to follow, download, and listen to more episodes. I'm Max Belmonte, and this is Two Unemployed Actors.
Two unemployed actors.